The first Death Star was considered to be a generational weapon within the Star Wars universe. The ability to literally wipe a planet from existence was a power no one could even believe was possible, hence why some within the galaxy still doubted it ever existed. Not only did it exist, the Empire designed and constructed a second one almost immediately after the destruction of the first. Now, in today's edition of Star Wars Exploration, we'll be taking a look at the Death Star 2, from what it improved over the first Death Star to how the station came to be. Before we cover the Death Star 2, it's important to understand the state of the Empire and its Emperor following the destruction of the first station. What was thought to be the ultimate weapon proved to be the first ultimate failure of his regime. The Emperor didn't shy away from punishing those who he felt were the most responsible, at least those that were still alive after the fact. Even Darth Vader, his trusted apprentice for 19 years at this point, was a subject of intense backfire for his part in the catastrophe. But once the punishments were handed out for the first Death Star, the Emperor made clear what was to happen next. There was going to be a second Death Star constructed, one that corrected all the mistakes of the first, in particular that fatal flaw that was secretly installed by Galen Erso, the man who unwillingly spearheaded the weapons research of the first station. The Emperor's newly formed grand plan would end with a victory at the world of Endor with a trap he had laid, and then the subsequent invasion of key rebel worlds like Mon Cala and Chandrila. When all these pieces came together, the Emperor thought, the galaxy will firmly be in his control. The oversight of constructing a second Death Star was appointed to Moff Jerjerrod. The Moff was given the new title of the Director of Imperial Energy Systems, though this title was nothing more than a cover for what was this new and haunting project. The Emperor was said to have a great deal of trust for Jerjerrod after his efforts in the construction of the first Death Star, and thus the secret project to construct a second Death Star was born and given the name Second Son. The choice for where to start the construction proved to be an obvious one: the Endor system. The place in question was extremely isolated and almost near the borders of unknown space, well away from anyone with prying eyes. This would prove to be a much better choice, and no one knew of the second Death Star until it was purposely leaked as part of the Emperor's plans, much unlike the first station, which had ramblings and rumors spreading throughout the galaxy long before its first initial test fire on Jedha. Now, the construction of the second Death Star was moving at an acceptable pace to start. However, roadblocks such as budget cuts and supply chain breakdowns started to slow the project, and Jerjerrod didn't even know that this was part of the Emperor's plan. The Emperor purposely had the project sabotaged so that the rebels could truly believe the Empire was vulnerable to attack when it came to the Death Star 2. Now, these moves by the Emperor in secret proved to worry Jerjerrod, because one, he had no clue the Emperor was purposely sabotaging his project. He believed that he was legitimately running into roadblocks, and he feared this station would never be finished in the time that was allotted to him. Though what had been finished completely dwarfed and overshadowed the first Death Star, even in an incomplete state. Now, the biggest and most important thing was that thermal exhaust shaft, the one that proved to be the fatal flaw of the first station. It had been improved and replaced with not one exhaust shaft, but instead millions of millimeter-sized heat dispersion tubes that an ion torpedo could not fit down. Now, perhaps the more frightening innovations both came with the station's super laser. This new super laser could charge and fire again within minutes, much shorter than the hours the first station took to recharge. Now, you couple that with the ability to lower the weapon's power to fire on capital ships as well, the Death Star 2 not only was a planet killer, but could be a fleet killer as well. Now, with the station nearly complete and his trap laid in place, the Emperor felt on top of the galaxy, even opting to be on board the station to witness what he believed would be the grand defeat of the rebellion. But soon something happened that caused Palpatine to have some doubt in his grand plan. When Yoda passed away, the Emperor happened to have sensed his death, and surprisingly, the spirit of Yoda appeared before Palpatine on the Death Star to proclaim that he could not win the war. Now, Palpatine, being defiant as he is, declared that he could, but only for Yoda to disappear before him. But something about this moment, something about this premonition made Palpatine feel uneasy. It would be soon after that Palpatine summoned Gallius Rex to the Death Star 2 to enact what he would call the contingency. Now, the contingency is a secret plan devised to destroy and rebuild the Empire should he die. Now, we all know how things ended after that. The destruction of the Death Star 2 came, Palpatine's death happened, and that was the beginning of the end of the Empire. Now, that's where the idea for a second Death Star began in canon. Now, the legend side of this story is quite different, and there is a chance I will cover it in the Legends of Star Wars series here on the channel. I would like to hear from all of you. Do you think the Emperor was right in his desire to construct a second Death Star? Also, if there's any other topic that you would like to see covered here on Star Wars Exploration, tell me down in the comment section below. If you found yourself enjoying today's video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe while you're at it, and don't forget to hit the notification bell as well to get notified about all uploads here on the Marauders Guild. And until the next time, may the force of others be with you.